What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for July 22nd, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast. A rainy, steamy, just blah Monday. But we have the Phillies. That was more like it, 6-0. Tyler Phillips looked pretty good, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 Ks. Alvarado got put back in a not quite a high leverage situation, which helped build some of that confidence back. But I don't know where to go from here. And it's one of those things that the past couple of years, and it's worked both ways. The one year he didn't have a closer, and they probably could have used that stability or that guy being the closer. Last year it was Kimbrel, and we all kind of know how that came out. But I still think they make a move for a bullpen pitcher. I did see that, I forget where I read it, but Aiden Miller is available. Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford were the two untouchables, apparently. But I do think if the deal is right, Dombrowski will make that move. But I really want to see a high-end quality bullpen guy in here. But you also have to be careful with that because those guys are sometimes year to year are different. So they definitely need some help. It's just a matter of what or who. But yesterday's game did go a long way in helping to calm some of my nerves. The Braves also lost, which means they're going into Minnesota with an 8.5 game lead. It's almost like whenever they do go on stretches like this, somehow the Braves are still a little shaky during that stretch and they don't lose much ground. So that's good. But this will be a tough series out in Minnesota. Looking forward to that. They're 5 games back of Cleveland, so it's a big series for them just as much as it's a big series for the Phils. Rangers on the mound tonight. Looking forward to it. And how about Nick Castellanos? Whenever there seems to be a major world event or someone passes away, he hits a home run. I saw so many people once it was announced that Joe Biden was not running say that I'm going to hammer Castellanos' home run prop. Sure enough, top of the 9th, Castellanos hit a home run. So somehow he just has a knack for when there are big events in the world, just doing it. But good win for the Phils, coupled with the Braves loss. They it's right where they were at the beginning of the weekend. So somehow no harm, no foul on this weekend. I'm still concerned. I want to see what the move is or what moves they make at the trade deadline. But for now, we move on, and we're in Minnesota tonight. Be sure to check out my boys over the Clashing Conferences podcast, doing great things over there. Their baseball edition is out, and they just keep getting better. So that's available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. And then be sure to check out Philly Goat. Back to school time is here. Go check out what they have for your kids. Get yourself some stuff. And I keep saying this because my kids are very into it. They have amazing stickers. Go check out the stickers for the water bottles, whatever your kids like to put their stickers on. They have you covered. And be sure to use that promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. And don't forget to check out the shoes. The shoes are so comfortable. Like, I continue to wear them all weekend. Went out to dinner the other night wearing them, and they're just so comfortable and they're so easy, especially in the summertime. So go to phillygoat.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. Don't forget the John Kruk is my spirit animal shirt, with 10% of those proceeds going toward Battle Brothers. But go to Philly Goat, get your back to school shopping done, and use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, Eagles training camp kicks off tomorrow, and I was going to save this for tomorrow, but really, going into training camp, I have 2 big burning questions. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to keep an eye on, but how is Jalen Hurts going to respond to the whole, since June's OTA, or the mandatory minicamp, whatever it was, how is he going to respond? That's the main thing I'm looking for. And then James Bradberry, I still don't know if he's going to show up or not. Still don't know what the Eagles' plans are with him, but those are really my 2 big questions. I saw that Sidney Brown was placed on the PUP list. Not really a surprise there. He tore that ACL late in the season. So that's about it. It's going to be tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. So like I said, I cannot wait to hear what Jalen has to say about the whole Sirianni press conference and the reports and things like that. But buckle up, it is game on. Sixers ended their summer league schedule yesterday. They did beat the Celtics, closed out with a win, and Jarrett McCain shot better. Still not great. But I think he's chucking up a lot of threes, and that's really impacting him. But, I mean, he shot almost 40% from three yesterday, so he's getting there. Definitely improved throughout. And speaking of improve, Jeff Dowtin was able to play his way in Summer League to a two-way contract with the Sixers. I think that's pretty cool. And really, those two-way contracts are great come January, February, when it's a grind and you need just some fresh guys to come in and play. So looking forward to that. Congratulations to him. That's a pretty cool thing to do during Summer League. But they're done now until October 1st training camp. So we're going to rest with the Sixers. I still think there's another move or two coming for them, but kind of close the page on this chapter of the Sixers and really start focusing now on Eagles training camp and the rest of the Phillies season. But overall, very positive and encouraging summer league. Like I said, McCain and Adem Bona were all over the court. Ricky Council IV definitely is going to get some meaningful minutes on the Sixers roster this year. And like I said, Dowtin was able to play his way into a two-way contract. So overall, I'm encouraged coming out of Summer League. Like I said, there's still another move or two that the Sixers will make. But for now, it's been a whirlwind since June covering they're keeping an eye on the Sixers between free agency and the draft, but I will give them an A+ for that. All right, today we're going to go back to 1955, and on this day in 1955, the Phillies split a doubleheader with the Cardinals at Connie Mack Stadium. They won the first game 6-3, then lost game 2 8-1. Excuse me. In game 1, Murray Dixon pitched a complete game, and Bobby Morgan hit a home run for the Phils. Del Ennis went 2 for 4 with a double and a triple. This was important because it was their 11th straight win, setting a franchise record for consecutive wins. All of them happened to be at home, so it also set the franchise record for consecutive home wins. Both of those streaks have been broken since, but the club record for consecutive wins is 13. They've done that 2 times, back in 1977 and back in 1991. And also during that stretch in 1991, they won 16 home games, which is the franchise record. They won 12 in a row at home in 2010. They also put a nice little streak together this season. I think they got to 10 or 11 as well this season. So the record, though, is 16, and that was set back in 1991. But it was on this day in 1955 that the Phillies set their home winning streak record and their consecutive winning streak record with winning game 1 of a doubleheader versus the Cardinals, and that was at 11 games. Again, since both of those have been broken. Back in 1977 and 1991, they won 13 games in a row. It'd be a great time for the Phillies, actually, to go on a nice little break that record, break the home record, and just go on a nice little run throughout the American League Central. And then I think the Dodgers come in. So let's just go on a run, and why not? Why not? All right, it is time for the Ultimate Philly Sports Nickname Tournament. And we're in the Elite 8. We are down to our final 8 teams. Yesterday, it was the Flying Hawaiian knocking out the Minister of Defense with 58% of the vote over in the Balboa region. And then it was Dr. J knocking out Chooch with 64% in the Schuylkill region. Both of the 2 seeds move on. So let's take a look at the updated brackets and see who's left. We have, out of the Ben Franklin region, the Broad Street Bullies, the 1 seed, are taking on The number 2 seed, the Boston Strangler. Out of the Cheesesteak region, it's the number 1 seed, Chocolate Thunder, taking on the number 3 seed, the Answer. Lots of Sixers. And then in the Schuylkill region, the number 2 seed, Dr. J, taking on the number 4 seed, the Axeman. And then in the Balboa region, the Executioner takes on Flying Hawaiian. We will end this tournament. The champion will be crowned on Thursday. Cannot wait for that. Looking forward to it. It's been fun throughout this past month of the dog days. But Eagles training camp starts. We have a little bit of Olympic coverage. So this tournament has done its job to get us through. But let's look at today's matchup. And for a trip to the Final Four, the Ben Franklin Region Championship is the Broad Street Bullies versus the Boston Strangler. And honestly, there's not much more I can say about any of the teams left or nicknames left. So we're not going to spend a ton of time breaking them down. But the Broad Street Bullies, 2-time Stanley Cup winners, named for their style of play. And really that team, the way they played, embodied that nickname. Fans loved it. And still, that whole Broad Street Bully era, the 2-time Cup champions, they are some of the fan favorites to this day for not only Flyers fans, but all Philly fans. But I think the important part to remember about the Broad Street Bullies is they were not just tough guys. They had some talented offensive players who were also tough. And I mean, you got Bobby Clark, Bernie Parent, Bill Barber, Ed Snyder, all in the Hall of Fame. Like, these guys were some of the best to ever play the game. So they weren't just one-trick ponies. But the Broad Street Bullies, 2-time Stanley Cup champions, just a team that embodies the name and embodied the grit of Philadelphia in the 70s. They are the 1 seed taking on the Boston Strangler, which to me, a very, very underrated player. Just absolutely killed the Boston Celtics. That's how he got the nickname. The Boston media nicknamed him the Boston Strangler. They were all worried about Andrew Toney. Larry Bird said he was one of 2 point guard or shooting guards that he ever feared, the other being Michael Jordan. Charles Barkley said he was the best player he ever played with. And unfortunately, injuries cut down this guy's career. 2-time All-Star, NBA champion, averaged 20 points a game, was clutch in the playoffs that 82-83 season. Just an unfortunate situation where injuries cut him short. But Andrew Toney, the Boston Strangler, takes on the Broad Street Bullies. Who do you got for a trip to the Final Four? 267-495-8531 will get you in. Who wins the Ben Franklin region? Is it the Broad Street Bullies or the Boston Strangler? Call me on the voice and text line, 267-495-8531. That will get you in. Or hit me up on the social media, Jimbo_Mont, Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, email, text message, whatever you got to do, get those votes in. But it's the Broad Street Bullies versus the Boston Strangler for a trip to the Final Four. And then in the Cheesesteak region, our number 1 overall seed. Excuse me, I knew that was coming. I can't shake this cold. But our number 1 overall seed in the Cheesesteak region, Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder, backboard breaking from Planet Lovetron. He just embodied that 70s NBA funk era. Played for the Sixers from 75 to 82. Ultimately was a part of the trade that brought Moses in, who led the Sixers to the title. Went straight to the pros out of high school. I really think this guy with his personality could have played in the NBA today. Probably would have been a good 6th, 7th guy off the bench. But just one of the greatest nicknames given to him by Stevie Wonder because of his thunderous dunks. And his handler would always say the big chocolate guy just threw down a dunk. But Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder, the number 1 overall seed in the tournament out of the Cheesesteak region, taking on a fan favorite. And this one, I think, this matchup is a clash of styles almost, but these guys aren't so different. Allen Iverson, the Answer, four-time scoring champ, 2001 MVP. His number 3 is retired in the rafters. He was a 7-time All-Star for the while playing for the Sixers, 75th All-Anniversary team for the NBA, Rookie of the Year, underrated defense, led the league in steals a handful of times, and got the nickname The Answer because he was the answer to Georgetown's problems, and really, I think, culturally changed the NBA in a good way. It was a struggle at some times for him, but really left his mark in that regard on the NBA. And I think personality-wise, these two guys are similar. I think from a nickname perspective, I think there's a clear edge, but the sentimental run from Allen Iverson, that 2001 Sixers championship run, this one's going to be both of these matchups are going to be interesting. So who do you got out of the Cheesesteak region? Which is the better Philly sports nickname, Chocolate Thunder or The Answer? And then we have the Broad Street Bullies, the Boston Strangler, 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Let me know that. Get anything else Philly sports related. Who should the Phillies trade for? What are you most looking forward to for Eagles camp? Everything is on the table, but get your vote in for the ultimate Philly sports nickname tournament. We will have two nicknames in the Final Four tomorrow, and then we have another Elite Eight matchup on Tuesday. And then Wednesday's the Final Four. Championship on Thursday. And we crown the ultimate Philly sports nickname tournament. On this day in 1955, Phil split a doubleheader with the Cardinals, winning Game 1, which extended their franchise record winning streak to 11 games. Also was their longest home winning streak up until that point, which has since been broken. 16 games in 1991, and as a franchise, 13 games both in 1977 and then 1991. They won 13 in a row. Be safe out there driving. They keep saying there's going to be some storms today during rush hour, so be careful, be safe. Let's go Phils out in Minnesota. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for July 22nd, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.